Hello everyone, I'm here today to talk about the energy of the 347 specifically for your life path, expression, soul urge, points to remember, guidance for the 347 energy, depending on where that 347 energy is in your chart. Right, so I'm going to start with the life path because that's the most vital energy, and it's going to be what the life path struggles with and some guidance points to help you through that life path, and the strengths you have in the expression number and what you're motivated by if 347 is your soul urge number, and what it means if 347 is your birthday number, but not necessarily in that order. So let's get started. So when it's your life path, this is your chosen mission for this lifetime. It is the most important number in your chart, bar none. Okay, it's like king of your kingdom if it's your life path 7, and this should be the center of your life, what you're here to achieve. You're going to have difficulties. This is not going to be easy, but it's not meant to be. This is not a talent. This is not a passion. This is a path of difficulty that you are here to work towards. This is what you told your spirit guide, essentially, that you would achieve in this lifetime. Okay, so in the 7 energy, because remember, unless it's a master energy, we go from the right for importance. So for the 347, the 7 is the most important energy, then the 4 is the most important sub-lesson, and then the 3, the least important but still relevant sub-lesson. So in the 7, you're here to learn to be spiritual, to trust the soul within you, really, to realize that you are an immortal soul. You're not a human being having a spiritual experience. You are essentially an immortal spiritual being having a human experience, and the human experience is to learn and evolve in this lifetime. So you're here to learn to trust your immortal soul within you, to trust your intuition, which is where all your life path experience, all your past life experiences are all packed into your soul. All the experience is still there. So all that intuition, all that bank of knowledge is all inside you. So learning to trust that bank of knowledge that's inside you, trusting that intuitive wisdom from all those previous lives, and trust that your soul, you're a soul having a human experience. Share your intuitive wisdom without fear of ridicule, because you know your soul has your back. You know that what you're saying to the world is true and authentic because it's channeled directly from your soul, and you just know that it's right, and you will express that to the world without fear of ridicule. This is what you're working towards if it's your life path 7. So you're going to struggle with maybe following your intuition. You might struggle with trusting the world, trusting those around you, and you won't share necessarily your intuitive wisdom. You might overthink things and really focus on the mind instead of that bank of knowledge you have in your soul. You might isolate yourself from other people and feel mistrusting of others to the point where they mistrust you and you mistrust the world. And it can get quite low if you're a low level 347, if you're really struggling. So this is what you're working towards, having trust in your immortal soul, trust that the world is perfect just the way it is, and that it's just not out to get you. Okay, so the life path 7 can feel really like the world and everyone is out to get them. No one can be trusted, so I'm going to hide myself away, and if I tell everyone about my wisdom and my knowledge and try and help people, they'll just take the mick out of me. That's a real low level 7 energy. So you want to get out of that energy and work towards trusting that bank of information that's inside you, and having no problem with expressing that to the world, and not caring whether or not you think people might ridicule you, because it came from your soul. So that that's right. That is a proper high level 7. Yeah. So to do this, you need to look at that 4 first of all, and you notice their opposites. Really the 4 is about logic and practicality and achieving goals in this world and bringing things down to the real world and building security in the world. And yet the 7 is a very spiritual number. So you're looking at harmonizing those apparent opposites, practicality and mysticism, set and achieve practical worldly goals to achieve security in the world, but in order to help other people using your spirituality, but in a practical way, like being a spiritual coach or a teacher, or having your own business as a spiritual coach or a teacher. That's you bringing the practicalities or helping people with the practicalities of life using spiritual knowledge and wisdom and purpose to help them achieve that. This is what the Life Path 347 is working towards, and this is what I am always working towards, because this is my life path, you know. So if I gabble on a bit too much, it's because it's my life path, and every element that I've put in this video is totally not only from my research but from my life's experience as well. So in the 4 energy, to be the best life path 7 you can be, or I can be, I need to harmonize those apparent opposites, you know, because the 7, you can really want to sort of run off into the woods and live in, you know, away from people. You know, you'd be quite happily going to live in a tree in the jungle and having no contact with anyone. But the 347, most importantly, is about bringing the spirituality to the world, living in the world, and using that spirituality to help people in a practical way. So 347s, your path is not to run away to an ashram. Your path is not to go and run away and live in a tree and get away from people and just pretend they don't exist, which has gone through my head many times in my life. But it's because it's my path, it's my difficulty, and I need to get past this, you know, this fear of wanting to run away and go and live in a tree somewhere. Set practical and worldly goals, and be a practical business person in the real world, but use your wisdom, okay, as part of that business, or that's what you're delivering as your business. And to do that in the 3 energy, you need to emotionally express your creativity to inspire, teach, and delight. So you're teaching people your spiritual wisdom by speaking it out to people, to an audience, to just the people around you, telling people about your wisdom and expressing that to other people so that they learn and are inspired by that information. So that's what I'm working. This is why I do this channel. You know, I'm a very spiritual person, and I tend to be sort of hide away with all my wisdom that I bring. But, you know, it's about me bringing that wisdom to the world, being that spiritual teacher, and do it in a way, you know, doing it that I'm emotionally expressing to you in this video. You know, this is me trying to achieve my life path. And luckily, my soul urge number is a 7 as well, so I'm absolutely and totally excited and enthralled at every video that I ever do, if you haven't already noticed. So the 347, what are we here to do, 347s? We need to harmonize them apparent opposites. So it's the practicality of the 4 and bringing things down into the business world, achieving in the world to achieve worldly security, but using spirituality and mysticism and finding a balance between the 2, using one to achieve the other in synergy. Also, the 3 and the 4 there, that emotionality against the mental of the 4, that, you know, they can be opposites as well. And, you know, the 7 is so emotional at times, and that 3 is not helpful. And I can get extremely emotional, and I find I need to step back and really think. I need to think about this rationally and think about what the lesson is in here, and not allow myself to emotionally kick off when something goes wrong, and to really think about it rationally. How can I be more rational here? But not be too rational either. You've got to bring your emotions into it too. So it's finding that balance of the 2. And using, you know, what the 347 also needs to do is to use the spiritual intuition that they're developing for their life path to help others in practical ways, like within a spiritual business, like balancing your sensitive emotions with logic and rationality so that you can express to other people. You know, looking at your sensitive emotions, your logical rationality, and think, what are my lessons here? You know, and helping other people to think about that as well. A spiritual business in the world where you're helping other people to look into their own lives. And you've just got to do it for yourself as a 347 too. And in the 3 energy, express your spiritual intuitive wisdom to teach and inspire the wisdom that you learn and research and channel every day. A spiritual teacher at the end of the day, or a coach, would be a good way for a 347 to express their 347-ness for their life path, which is what I try to do every day of my life. Trust the spirit within you. You know, I've often second guessed myself a lot and like think, no, even my intuition's told me that way. I've, you know, rationalized it and decided that it's, you know, I'm going to go that way instead. Not good. You know, I've done that a lot all my life, and it's what the 7 tends to do. So it's, you've got to learn to trust that intuition, trust that inner voice, trust that gut, and don't second guess it. Don't rationalize it and say, no, that's not right, and go the other way. Follow it. It's very important. I've needed to do that many times throughout my lifetime, and most of the time, and a lot of the time I've actually failed, but I've got to keep in mind it's my path. And for you as well, if you are a 347, don't beat yourself up. It's your path. It might take your whole life to deal with this stuff, you know. Trust the spirit within you. Trust the spirit within others. You know, we're all soul energies trying to do the best we can. You know, trust the process of your life. It's not meant to be a utopia. Trust that everything is going as it should be, so that you feel safe enough to share that intuitive wisdom that you totally trust in to the world without fear of ridicule. You know, your destiny, your deepest drive when it's your life path, the 7 definitely is inner processing, you know, rather than external achievement, you know, and the 4 is very much about external achievement. So it's balancing a little bit. You know, the 7 is about internal development, and the 4 is about expressing and achieving in the world. So you're balancing the 2 here. So you're primarily about your inner processing. But when you're a 347, it's about synergy, being in synergy with bringing that, not running away with your wisdom and living in a tree in the woods, but bringing your wisdom to the world so that you can help yourself and other people in a practical way. Very important. Okay. So you learn, it's important that you learn self-trust and a deeper understanding through direct experience and learning what your intuition and your inner voice tells you. It's so important. I know. Use the difficulties of life as a learning experience. You know, life isn't meant to be utopia. We're not meant to live like the Brady Bunch. You know, we're meant to go through ups and downs, and we're meant to learn from what we've gone through. Okay, so this is what you're here to do primarily if you're a 347. Harmonize those opposites, you know, bring the spiritual to the world in a practical level. Use, you know, balance your emotionality with rationality, you know, and express yourself emotionally so that you do teach your wisdom confidently and passionately to other people. Points to remember. I'm still on the life path here, guys. Life path is so important. It's your most important. So working towards that being that spiritual teacher if you're a 347. Or some other way of being a spiritual teacher. You know, there's so many ways to be a spiritual teacher so that you bring your spirituality to the real world, you know, to help others. Trust your own feelings, your thoughts, your instincts, your intuitions as the higher wisdom that you have within you. It is so important that in your heart and intuition is your biggest bank of knowledge, even above research. You know, it should come first. A balance of analysis and spiritual intuition, but you know, the last guiding number, the last guiding decision is that intuition. But you know, you got to use that analysis. You got to bring the world into it. It's not about going off and living in a tree and not listening to anyone else's point of view. You need to balance the 2. Sensitive emotions with logical rationality, you know, pulling yourself back emotionally with rationality and not being too rational and looking at the emotional side too, finding a balance between the 2, having the confidence that no one will hurt you, your soul has got your back. This comes from your intuition and it should be trusted 100,000%. Trust your intuition, trust in yourself and the profound sense of higher energy. You know, your life is going totally as it should, and it's really important. You know, pin it to your pin board, write it on your head. Just make sure you're always remembering that fact, okay? Life is going how it should be. Development of the 7 energy. I'm still on that. I'm focusing now on that 7 energy. Okay, I'll get to the little bit deeper into the sub lessons in a moment. So you don't fully trust your feelings if you're a struggling 7. Okay, you kick out your intuition and overthink everything, and you know, you think, oh, you know, if I share what I know with other people, they're just gonna you know, misunderstand me or ridicule me or say nasty things, so I'd rather hide myself. You know, this is a low level 7 that is still developing. Okay, you might have some of these elements, you might be better at some of these elements than others. You know, we're all different, so I'm not saying you're all of these elements, but some of these are going to resonate with you more than others. Okay, if they all resonate with you, then good luck. So you need to learn to trust the mystery and wisdom of life. You know, not everything is as it seems. You're safe and nothing can harm you. Life is going exactly as it should. Okay, that's what you need to trust in. And you often don't trust in that, which can cause a lot of distress and mistrust in the world, and you think the world is against you, and it can get quite horrible at times. Then you really isolate yourself a lot. But you need to trust your feelings and your mind, have a balance of the two, with the intuition pipping the mind at the post if you get into difficulty, because it's always what comes from your heart that is the higher power, the higher knowledge. So have faith in the spiritual process. You know, the 347 would be really good with meditation. Well, any number is good with meditation. We should all meditate, but the 7, because you have such a buzzy mind, and meditation, time in nature, because you've really got an affinity with nature if you're a 7. So musing in nature, meditation, deep breathing, anything that sort of takes you away from the real world and into the spiritual process is good for you to do. Pay attention to what your body tells you. Have trust in yourself. Listen to your body's wisdom rather than what people's information might tell you, you know, because sometimes they're going to clash. And if they do, put your intuition first. You are the only one that knows you. Okay. So if somebody tells you that eating 50 carrots a day will make you live till you're 150, but then you eat 50 carrots and you feel like crap, don't do it. Okay, your intuition and your body is what you should be following, not what some guru says on the telly. Okay, so where am I? Trust issues, very much so when you're a 7. Never fully relaxed around others, because you're always worrying that they're going to ridicule you, or they're talking about you behind your back, or they're going to tell you you're rubbish or something. So you don't share your feelings, and you end up feeling alone. So you don't emotionally connect with other people on any level. But unconditional trust depends on you following that step-by-step process. So self-discovery is important for you. If you want to develop more trust in your life, step process to your self-discovery. Learn more about who you are and accept who you are. And then you're going to feel more safe the more you really indulge in what your intuition tells you and what your purpose is, what you're here to do. You'll feel more trust that you're doing the right thing, you're following your purpose, and you shouldn't feel scared to express that knowledge and that beauty to the world. Where am I? Unconditional trust depends on following a step-by-step process. Just said that. Positive expectations would be really useful here. The law of expectations. I will do a video on that. I haven't got onto the spiritual laws yet, but I have so many ideas, video ideas, that there's just loads. So positive expectations is important. You know, bringing negative energy to the situation is never going to be helpful. But you find that you're safest in the mind, because you're analytical, because you're so analytical, but you need to think of the other side of it too, your emotions, your intuition. How do you feel about it? It's not just because it's rational that you should do something. You need to look at the mind as well, of course, but you also have to look at your emotions and your intuition as well. And that should be part of your decision-making process as you balance those opposites that I'm talking about. You desire to go inward, away from the material world, go and hide in a tree, away from this apparent troubled world of ours. You see hypocrisy everywhere, turmoil, self-doubt. This is when you're low. And you're always looking for teachers to help you, because you haven't realised that the knowledge is right there in your intuition already. You don't have to keep going to teachers all the time. The information is right there if you will just listen to it. And you can end up being like wandering spiritual vagabonds, never putting down roots, a traveling spiritual person. But, as a 347, you're here to bring your spirituality to the world. You're not allowed to go and live in a tree away from everyone and be a spiritual vagabond. You've got to get involved with the world. Use your spirituality practically and help others to use their spirituality practically in their own life as well. Remember, you're here to mix those opposites. You're here to bring spirituality to the world. As a spiritual teacher, as a spiritual coach, functioning within a spiritual business. There are many ways to do that, but this is just a big example of how you can merge this energy and achieve this life path. Some sevens especially at their lowest, they might even reject spirituality, but you're going to have difficulty if you do that, and there's going to be problems constantly, and you're going to be constantly called upon with issues and problems until you start trusting that intuition. So it's going to keep knocking on your door and nagging you until you do take that spiritual path. You can be a bit frivolous with money. I haven't found that. But a lot of sevens are very frivolous with money, so you need to watch that, especially at the moment with lockdown Lucy still going around the world. And I used to love doing martial arts. I love to dance, useless by the way, but I used to love to dance, got to black belt in martial arts and everything until I got lazy. And you love skill sports, I always used to love that, and I'd love it if I could dance properly, but I've just never danced. I'm just it's like mum dancing, which is just another version of dad dancing, really. I just don't put my handbag on the floor. Don't do handbags. Anyway, stop gabbling. The sub-lessons. So you're harmonising apparent opposites here. This is where I really look into the opposites, because the 3 is opposite to the 4, and the 4 and the 7 are very much opposites in a lot of ways. The 4 is very grounded and practical, and the 7 is very spiritual. So it's about opposites of practicality, groundedness, and being in the world, mixing with mysticism and intuition. Okay, so it's mixing practicality and mysticism in synergy. Thinking, but also doing. Don't just stay in your own head. Express it to the world. That balance of thinking and doing. Okay, the emotionality that the 7 has is really strong, and using the rationality and the logic of the 4 to tone that emotionality down. These are the 3 apparent opposites that would be great to help you achieve your life path, right? So be practical with your mysticism, balance your thinking and expressing, so you're not overthinking and not doing. So you're doing as much as you're expressing. No, you're expressing as much as you're thinking, and you don't let your emotionality take over you. You let rationality be involved, and vice versa. And because it's the most significant sub-lesson, I'm starting with that 4, okay? So it's that 4, that mix of practicality and mysticism. So to be the best life path 7 you can be in this incarnation, you must try to achieve stability and security in the world. You can't go off and live in a tree. In the world, by using a planned process to achieve your goals, to be organised, have a process and a plan, and take each step meticulously. You must achieve each step of your goals step by step with perseverance and determination, so that you build something practical and secure in the real world. It's like having a business and earning your own financial security through the running of your business, or building a home and having your own security inside your home with your family. It's having that stability and security in the world. So making money so that you can build security in the world, achieving goals so you can get things done to achieve security in the world. Okay, so that's very much opposite to the 7, which is about spirituality. And then in the 3, all that information that you have from the 7 energy, you can then communicate with others, to an audience, with positive, heartfelt expression, positively, to inspire, to teach, and to delight other people. So starting a business in the 4 energy, expressing your wisdom in the 3 energy, and the wisdom comes from the 7 energy. So it's about mulching these up together and making it work for you to achieve your life path 3, 4, 7, if it is your life path. Right, so let's dig a little bit more into this 4 energy here. So remember, the 7 is very spiritual. That's what you're here to achieve, to trust the soul within you, to know that you are a spiritual being. But you have to do it in such a way where you integrate in synthesis, build a bridge from the spiritual to the practical in very creative ways, establishing businesses and security and financial and emotional security on earth, contributing to others in practical ways, but using your spiritual wisdom to do that. It's just, you're very much conflict a lot of the time. The 7 pulls you upwards towards, living in an ashram, or upwards towards just sitting and meditating on a rock, or living in a tree in the woods away from everyone with your legs crossed. So the 7 pulls you upwards to the higher mind, and the metaphysical, and the 4 pulls you downwards back to practical matters, back to business, earning money, every day, routine things, you know, so you've got to have a synergy of both of those, you know, blend and couldn't talk now, blend and manifest spirituality and the practical, making money by bringing wisdom, happiness and awareness to the world. A spiritual business, perhaps. Set goals to achieve in the real world, goals to build your spiritual business. Trust your ability to achieve your goals step by step. You have that potential, otherwise you would not have that 4 in your life path energy. You're not given anything that you can't achieve. You know, the potential is always there, okay? Driven towards building security through your business and your family, building strong, stable foundations that you can rely on by grounding yourself in the practicalities of life and helping other people to do the same, but using your esoteric spiritual wisdom and laws to help people to do that. You know, they can be mixed in great synergy. In the 3 energy, which is the least important of those numbers, it's about taking that knowledge in the 7 energy and expressing that in an emotionally balanced way, and having the skill to express yourself in an emotionally positive way, speaking, acting. You could do it with your music, with your art. You might do it with your body in physical and dance performance, you know. Some people show their spiritual knowledge with their artwork. Some people do spiritual music. Some people teach people spiritual stuff, which is what I'm trying to do. I love dance as well, but I've never have been or never would be anywhere near good enough to do that. Only as a hobby when I hide around in a room on my own. And expressing your creative specialism with your words or your artistry to inspire an audience. And that's what I try and do every day. You know, I'm trying to bring my spirituality to this world. My difficulty is that 4 energy, because I'm not very good at the business side of it as much as, you know, but it's something I'm working towards. This is meant to be hard for me. You know, I don't mind expressing to other people, but that 4 energy is a difficulty for me at times. So, but that's my life path. So express your creative specialism with your words, your artistry to acquire that audience, which I'm doing on YouTube, or what I love to do. Develop confident, jovial social skills so that you can network, make emotional connections for work and in your personal relationships. So being very expressive, you know, the 4 is very stoic and the 3 is very expressive. So again, you're balancing opposites here. So it's asking you to be stoic and organized and goal achieving and get the work done. And your 3 energy wants to laugh, be jovial and speak to people and have fun. So many opposites in the 3, 4, 7, and you have to balance them all. So you've got to be spiritual, you've got to teach people spirituality, you need to be secure and build a business so that you can build security from that, but also have the confidence and jovial ability to be able to communicate your wisdom to other people so that others listen to you. A drive for expression to uplift others while living fully in the world, not in an ashram in a forest or up a tree somewhere away from everyone. Working together, so you're harmonizing them opposites, okay? Thinking practicality and mysticism, you've mixed those up, so you might have a spiritual business, or you might use spirituality to help you do your job. You know, you're mixing the 2 as a 3, 4, 7. You think as much as you do, and you do as much as you think. You're emotional, but you can be rational with that. You don't let your emotions go bah, you know, when they're working together well. This is when it's working together well, by the way. Sometimes this isn't going to work so well, but when this is all in synergy, you're mixing your practicality with your mysticism. You're thinking as much as you're doing. You're focusing on, you know, your emotions and your rationality, so you use both to help you make decisions. You have faith and respect, and you develop by step by step process. A worldly business, spiritual pursuits. You could have a worldly business and spiritual pursuits, and they could be linked or might not be linked. So being worldly and spiritual is important for you as a 3, 4, 7. You know, worldly business and spiritual pursuits, or merging the 2. A spiritual business, selling spiritual books or teaching on personal growth or spiritual subjects, or even as part of a religion. You know, you must have faith respect and develop that step-by-step process, which I find difficult in that 4 energy, with strong creative expression in fields like numerology, metaphysics, spiritual subjects, astrology, and even martial arts, acting, producing, business, being creative writing. I do a lot of creative writing, and I'm writing a couple of books, screenplays, or maybe videos on YouTube, but you could do screenplays. You might write stories. You might write stories that develop people and give people a message. You might make presentations that teach spiritual lessons to people in a creative arty kind of way, rather than just words. Or you might do it with your words, and you're quite good at making presentations because you've got quite a good sense of structure that the 4 energy gives you. So you're quite good at building presentations and making so that you can pass information on to other people using some kind of audio visual or even live kind of communication with other people, so you're good at presenting information to others in order to entertain, teach and inspire. When you're merging all those numbers, you've got trust, patience and emotional expression in the 7, the 4 and the 3. Okay. Your issues, you may have issues or may be good with stability and process, but you need to work together here. Try not to skip steps in your plan when you're working on the 4 energy of bringing your business to this world or focusing on your career. Don't miss steps in your plan to your goals, okay? And express issues with expression and self-doubt at times. So this is what you're going to struggle with sometimes. Don't skip steps in your process. Don't, let issues with your expression pull you down. Try and stay positive as much as you can and kick that self-doubt away from you as much as you can. Blend the incisive mind of the 7 with the down-to-earth practicality of that 4, as I keep on about, bringing that spirituality to the world to help yourself and other people in practical ways. And then you'll find that in your relationships you'll be able to bring stability in the 4 and strength to your relationship, but the 3 in your numbers will soften your 4 tendency and your 7 tendency to stay mental, to stay up in your head. So use that 3 energy to try and soften your emotions a little bit more, because the 4 and the 7 can be quite stoic and task orientated. So that 3 can soften how you are in your relationships and balance that mental energy a bit, but you need to use that, Have worldly interests and a commitment to spirituality. Now you can merge that however way you want, depending on what your life is as a 3, 4, 7, but that world and that spiritual has always got to be a part of it, however you express it. Okay, spirituality, inner growth, and be open to feedback all the way down the road. Don't be thinking that people are against you if they're they give you a bit of constructive criticism, unless they openly are nasty. Then just walk away. Remember, you're very emotional and you could kick their ass. Share your insights based on experience. Be connected to spirit, but also engage in your everyday practicalities. Again, you're not allowed to run away, live in a tree or an ashram. Okay, everyday practicalities are part of your life, and you'll use your spirituality to help you engage in practicalities, and for you to help other people as a spiritual teacher to engage in their practicalities as well. The 3, 4, 7 at its best, when you're banging it, when you're a real 3, 4, 7 at its best. You trust your soul's intuition. Your inner knowledge, your decisions, they're all led by your heart, because you know and you trust that your soul already knows what's best. Okay? You have a clear plan to achieve your goals. You follow that plan meticulously with perseverance to bring your spirituality to the world. Practical business person, you bring your spirituality to the world to help yourself and others with practical matters. You already do that, and it's all based on your intuition. And then you communicate your wisdom to build your business with others creatively and emotionally, and with skill and delight to teach and inspire action. in other people. So that is the 347 at its best. So if you are a 347 expression number, you're going to be much better than this. So as an expression number, the 347 is going to be your talent. So you're already good at listening to your soul's intuition and being spiritual. It's your talent. It's your top talent. If you're an expression number 347, you're talented at being spiritual, but you're also talented at bringing that spirituality to the real world. You can set goals, you can work hard, you're an excellent practical business person, and you're better able to mix that synergy of spiritual and practicality, emotionality and rationality. Doing and thinking, these opposites are much easier for you to bring together and use when 347 is at your talent, at your best. And the expression 347 at its best is just amazing at what I've just said. It's what's on this screen right now. So if it's your life path, you're working towards this. If it's your expression number, this is what is your top talent. If you're using your expression to its best, you should exude what's on this screen daily to support your life path number, because it's your talent. And if it's your soul urge number, this is what motivates you. You'll be just buzzy when it comes to spirituality and research about the bigger questions that will burn in your heart, and you'll be excited and motivated to do it. But you'll also be excited and motivated to stay in the world and bring your spirituality to the world, because remember, this is your motivation, your excitement, what burns in your tummy if you're a soul urge 347. If it's your soul urge, it's not your purpose, it's not your talent, it's just what you really want to do. And the kicker here, if you're a soul urge 347, is to use what's on this screen now, that what drives you passionately, which is what everything that's on this screen now, that's what excites you. And you've got to be able to use that passionate motivation to support your life path number. Okay, because remember, that life path is the most important number. So the 347 at its best, you're going to see that more when it's someone's expression number. And when it's someone's soul urge number, it's going to be something that they're just really passionate about, and they'll just really want to do. They'll really want to be in a spiritual business. They'll dream about it. It'll buzz in their heart every day, the idea of bringing spirituality down to the world. That's if you're a soul urge 347. Now, I hope you found the information on my video on the 347 really useful today. Please smash that like button if you have, and click that bell icon, and subscribe if you haven't already, and click that bell icon so you're up to date with all my posts. If you want to ask me a question, if you want to request a reading, if you want to just have a chat, you've got something you want to get past and you've got a question for me, or you'd like to request a video, I love getting video requests. Or you want to get a reading from me on your core numbers, your past, your present, and your future. And if you'd like to learn numerology, I'm going to put a link to my Udemy course, which is going to teach you all about the basics of numerology, and that's going to be in the description box as well. So contact me on email or social media if you want a reading, or if you want to request a video. Leave some questions in the description boxes, or the comment boxes if you want to ask me questions. I love to communicate with you guys. As ever, trust the soul within you. Only you know what's best for you. See you soon.